Welcome to Beyond Your Bedtime, where history is weird, wonderful, and completely unhinged. It is 1968, 23 years after the fire. Jennie Sodder walks out to her mailbox in West Virginia and finds an envelope with no return address. Inside is one photograph, a young man in his 20s. Dark hair, heavy eyebrows, a slight smile. On the back, someone has written a name, Louis Sodder. Louis Sodder has a death certificate. The state of West Virginia issued it in December of 1945, along with 4 more for his brothers and sisters. All 5 died in a house fire on Christmas Eve. That is the official story. There is only one problem with it. When the ashes cooled, searchers found no bones, no teeth, no trace of 5 children at all. Rewind to 1945, Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jennie Sodder have 10 children and a busy trucking business hauling coal. George came over from Sardinia as a boy. He has strong opinions and he shares them loudly, especially about Mussolini. That detail matters later, so hold on to it. Once Italy entered the war against the United States, Mussolini became the kind of subject Italian immigrant families learned not to raise in public. George raised it anyway. He said exactly what he thought about the man, in a town where plenty of people disagreed with him. Christmas Eve. 9 of the children are home. The older ones beg to stay up late with their new toys. Jennie goes to bed and falls asleep. Around midnight, the phone rings. A woman's voice asks for a name Jennie does not recognize. Behind the voice, there is laughing and the clink of glasses. Jennie says she has the wrong number and hangs up. On her way back upstairs, she notices the downstairs lights are still on. The curtains are open. The front door is unlocked. She locks up and goes to bed. Then she hears something hit the roof and roll down it. She falls asleep anyway. An hour later, she wakes up in smoke. George's office is burning. George and Jennie and 4 of the children get out through the front of the house. 5 do not. Maurice, 14, Martha's 12, Louis, 9, Jennie, 8, and Betty, just 5. Somewhere above them, the upstairs is filling with smoke. George runs for the ladder. There is always a ladder leaning against the side of the house. It is not there. It is simply gone. So he tries the trucks. He owns 2 coal trucks and he plans to drive one up against the wall and climb on the cab. Neither engine turns over. Both of them ran perfectly the day before. His daughter runs to a neighbor's house to call for help. The operator does not answer. Another neighbor drives into town to find the fire chief in person. The fire station is 2.5 miles away. The firefighters do not arrive until 8 o'clock in the morning. Most of the local men are away at the war, and the department reaches its volunteers by having one man phone the next. By sunrise, the house is a smoking hole in the ground. A short search of the debris turns up nothing at all. The fire is blamed on faulty wiring. Death certificates for all 5 children are issued 6 days later. The family is told the fire was so hot it consumed them completely. But here is where it gets weird. Months before the fire, a life insurance salesman came to the Sodder house. George turned him down. The man got angry and told George that his house would go up in smoke and his children would be destroyed, and that he would be paid back for the things he had been saying about Mussolini. Then there is the telephone line. A repairman tells the family it was not burned by the fire. It was cut. A local man is later picked up and admits to cutting the line and taking a piece of equipment from one of the trucks. He says he thought he was cutting a power line. A bus driver passing that night reports seeing someone throwing balls of fire at the house. Months later, one of the surviving children finds a hard rubber object in the yard that George is convinced was some kind of firebomb. Then come the sightings. A woman says she watched the fire from the road and saw the missing children looking out the windows of a car driving away. A woman running a tourist stop between Fayetteville and Charleston says she served the children breakfast the next morning. A woman at a Charleston hotel says 4 of them stayed there about a week later, with 2 men and 2 women who would not let anyone speak to them. Jennie cannot let it go, so she starts testing things. She learns that bones survive house fires more often than people think. She burns animal bones in her own stove to see what happens. They do not disappear. The kitchen appliances came out of the fire still recognizable. The house burned for about 45 minutes. It does not add up. In 1949, the family pays to have the site excavated properly. A pathologist sifts the dirt and finds a few small fragments of bone. They turn out to be human vertebrae from a person older than any of the missing children, with no sign of ever being exposed to fire. The most likely explanation is that they arrived in the truckloads of fill dirt hauled in to cover the crater. So George builds a billboard on Route 16. 5 faces, the story of the fire, and a reward for information. Drivers see it for decades. Which brings us back to that envelope in 1968. The photograph is postmarked Central City, Kentucky. There is no return address. On the back, in handwriting, it reads, Louis Sodder, I love Brother Frankie, Elil Boys, a 90132 or 35. Nobody has ever explained what that means. Not the misspelled word, not the numbers, not who Frankie was. The Sodders hire a private investigator and send him to Kentucky to find whoever mailed it. They never hear from him again. There is no gentle way to say the next part. 5 children went to bed on Christmas Eve, and by morning there was nothing left to bury. And their parents spent the rest of their lives asking a question no one would answer. George dies in 1969. Jennie wears black every day until she dies in 1989. The billboard comes down. Their youngest daughter, Sylvia, who was 2 years old the night she was carried out of that house, keeps the photograph of the young man on her wall until she dies in 2021. Nobody was ever charged. Nobody ever found a single bone. And no one may ever know what happened on that terrible night. If you find historical mysteries intriguing, be sure to subscribe to Beyond Your Bedtime.